this week on the Bubble Chat.
I really don't believe this is the first time he's found himself in trouble with the law, and honestly, the track record shows it. Over the years, there's been a string of legal issues tied to his name, from the early case involving child sexual performance in the music video to
we should have been
incident.
back then. Really, remember Coach Don? Because I'm also,
oh, you know him?
Yes.
You remember him? Friend? Come on, friend.
Yes, not that old. Anywho, he's just a very personable person. Him and his wife to put together RATS is commendable.
I wouldn't. If it's my job,
don't play with it.
Don't to work with urine and fecal matter. It's like think about being a trash man. You got some unwarranted smells you got to deal with on your job, right? No one's perfect. Men make mistakes, and then they die.
Allegedly.
And they die, but that ain't alleged because he dead. And with that, I would like to bring up some other folks that wasn't right, that was married, that are dead, that died before their wives. Like Ike died before Tina. Ike was not the best husband. Put his hands on her.
He was a monster.
Yes, he was. And I would have. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj have been going at it for about 18 hours straight, and I believe today is September the 30th.
The 30th of September 2025.
It's September the 30th. Yeah. So Cardi's getting it in with all these bitches. Her tea bag and her kettle is hot. She's serving girls. How do you feel about it? You said safe?
Safe.
And it's not safe. It ain't safe.
It is safe. It's very safe.
It ain't safe.
Very safe. Hey, y'all. Sorry, I'm a little ill-prepared here. Welcome back to another episode of the Bubble Chat. I'm so glad you're here with us today. If you're tuned in for the first time, this is a show where we break down the biggest headlines, the pop culture buzz, and those little stories you might have missed, with a little bit of humor, a lot of honesty, and a lot of conversation.
Now, let's be real. There's something going on out there. Some stories make us laugh. Some stories make us shake our heads. And others just make us say, wait, what? That's exactly why we're here, to sit down and unpack it all and give you a mix of entertainment perspective without all of the noise.
This isn't your typical news rundown. We like to treat it like you're hanging out with a friend, maybe over coffee, maybe in a group chat, where we can talk openly about what's happening and how it connects to all of us. You'll get a little bit of commentary, a few hot takes, and of course, plenty of moments where we just have to laugh at the chaos of it all.
And for those of you who've been rocking with the Bubble Chat since the beginning, thank you for always tuning in and keeping the conversation alive. And if you're new, welcome to the Bubble. It's not about the echo chambers here. It's about creating space and real talk in a world that sometimes feels a little too loud. Ooh, I get used to this little hair.
So buckle up. We've got a lot to dive into today. Let's get into our stories, the drama, and maybe a few surprises along the way. This is the Bubble Chat. Let's get into these hot topics. As a quoted, talented Wendy Williams once said, how you doing?
How you doing?
Now, before we go any further today, my phone has gone ape shit crazy. So the docs and the script is going to be passed off between me and Tracy today. And we've been fumbling as if we're doing the 400-meter dash in the Olympics. We promise to do the next rounds a little bit smoother, okay?
I didn't say that.
Yeah. So on to the first story. All right, folks, we're going to be digging into the wild twist.
It's out of here.
Do you want to take that off?
I cannot.
Okay. We're going to start that over, okay? All right, folks. Today we're digging into a wild twist in Tekashi's 6ix9ine legal saga. Recently, he pled guilty in an assault case that occurred in Florida Mall after a man called him a snitch. Because of that, now he's back under house arrest with an ankle monitoring and strict supervised release. According to court documents, the incident took place in August at the Palm Beach County Mall. 6ix9ine and other individuals allegedly knocked a man down, then kicked him and punched him, only to realize he was armed, at which the point that they had fled because he was about to bust a cap up in that ass. And this isn't the first probation stumble nor violation. Earlier this summer, he was accused of possessing cocaine and the MDMA in violation of his probation. So here's where things get a little bit messy if they were not in a disarray already. The judge ordered him to remain in home confinement with expectations only for religious services, medical or mental treatment, and court appearances. The setup puts him in a tight position for any further slip up. Things could escalate very, very quickly. So, okay, panel, this was one. Here's my question to all of you. At this point, is this another headline
You should mind your business paying you.
because you messing with this man's stuff and I don't know what's really going on.
I'm just annoying you tonight. Can you just please take a breath with me and just tell me grace, please?
This is not my house.
Oh,
At this point, is this just another headline in an ongoing legal roller coaster game for Tekashi, or does pleading guilty and getting house arrest signal a turning point? What does this move say about his standing with the court, his credibility, and how he's perceived in the public eye? That was a mouthful.
You know, I really don't believe this is the first time he's found himself in trouble with the law. And honestly, the track record shows it. You know, over the years, there's been a string of legal issues tied to his name, from the early case involving child sexual performance in the music video to gang-related incidents, domestic violence, and even alleged sexual assault. Now, what stands out to me, just from observing, is this bigger pattern we see often in the entertainment industry when rappers reach that level of fame, when they're dropping hits and making millions. It feels like there's this illusion that they're untouchable, almost like the success puts them above the law, or at least makes them believe that. And I think that's where the real problem is, because when someone keeps facing serious charges but still racks up streams, still charts, still sells out shows, it sends a message, whether intentional or not, that the music outweighs the accountability. That's just my 2 cents.
A snitch and that you're a government informant. That's what it seems like, because he never gets to go to jail for any of his bad behavior. Call a thing a thing.
Well, I think we tend to forget that Tekashi 6ix9ine did like gay porn before he ever set a bar. There's no telling what he's doing to get out of these tight situations he ends up in. As far as him being on house arrest, I don't think that's really going to help unless he's getting like weekly drug testing or something like that, or random drug testing, because he was caught with drugs, and now you're saying he needs to stay home. He could still be under the influence if he was at home. So I guess I'm more confused over all of the guidelines and what are the strict things that he is under versus making exceptions to go to church or go to the doctor. He needs to be in a drug treatment, not at home on house.
He needs to be in prison, period. He needs to be in prison. He's done things that any other normal walking around person, white, black, Hispanic, Malaysian, Asian, would be in jail for. So I've never been a fan of his. I've always shown grace to people who are remorseful. This man is not remorseful. He's still online bullying people, gaslighting people, still talking about what he can do and that he's a blood and he's this and he's that. Boy, go there, go lay down, go have several seats in a prison cell and go do your time like normal people.
Yeah, I haven't been a fan of him, to be honest, as well. I just listened to some of his songs, but not all of them. But yeah, other than that, I haven't never been a fan.
Plus, I don't know. I mean, he did a song with Nicki Minaj, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Before we dive into our next story, we want to take a moment to honor the life of Tate Anderson, who tragically passed away at just 19 years old. Tate was born with a congenital heart condition and endured countless surgeries by age 9. He had already undergone 12 operations in his younger years. He even received a heart transplant, and in recent times, he was battling cancer. He was a familiar, beloved face on the Ellen DeGeneres show, where he brought warmth, humor, and a resilient spirit every time he appeared. Ellen often referred to him fondly as her only boyfriend, a sweet running joke that reflected the special bond they shared. On behalf of the Bubble Chat, our hearts go out to Tate's family, friends, and everyone whose life he touched. Though he left us far too soon, the joy and strength he carried will live on in memory and in the stories we tell. He will be missed.
All right, everyone. We're going to pay tribute and switch gears here to a Bay Area coach, longtime PE teacher, Coach Don Areola Blur, was celebrated for his kindness. What?
Is his name Areola for real?
Areola Blur.
Areola?
Was celebrated for his kindness and his 40 years of helping kids in Berkeley schools. He's taught at multiple schools across the district, even co-founded a nonprofit with his wife called RATS, Recreation and Team Sports, which gives kids of all backgrounds and abilities a chance to participate and feel included. With what is cool that Coach Don just received the Chris Kindness Award. He got more votes than anyone else in the award history. Coach Don's impact extends beyond the schoolyard. Also in 2008, he and his wife, Michelle, co-founded RATS, Recreation and Team Sports, a nonprofit offering inclusion recreation programs for kids of all ages, abilities, backgrounds. What's neat is that none of their programs turn kids away for lack of funds. Inclusion is a core value. His children are also part of the RATS team, making it a family-driven mission. Here's what I want to ask you all. In an age where big headlines dominate, what do stories like Coach Don's teach us about where we should direct attention and praise? How can we better uplift those doing consistent community work over many years, not just the flashiest moments? Any word on that?
Yeah, I want to commend Coach Don. That's amazing, you know. I'm sure in all of our educational careers, there was a teacher, a guidance counselor, a principal, someone in the school that showed you that extra grace, that extra love, the extra motivation, you know, that extra encouragement. And it's great that he has a platform as being the coach. And then he goes the extra mile. You know, we know teachers, they spend their personal money to invest in their classrooms. You know, they really look out for these kids. You know, the parents are always not parenting, and teachers go far beyond teaching.
Yeah.
So for him to give out love to the community, start these projects, and let it be inclusive and all those things, and just for him to be acknowledged for it is a big thing. You know, they say what you put out into universe is what you receive back. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that he's getting the acknowledgement of the great things that he's doing, acknowledging these children. It's great. It's amazing.
I'll piggyback on you. I really remember Coach Don because I'm also...
Oh, you know him?
Yes.
You remember him? Friend? Come on, friend.
Yes, not that old. Anywho, he's just a very personable person. Him and his wife to put together RATS is commendable. And kudos to them and their children. I really love when teachers, because I have 3 in my family, so I'm a huge teacher fan. And my grandmother was also a teacher, but she had early childhood development daycare, what people would call it, in her home. But she did far more than just daycare. She really reached out and gave
fostering.
Yeah, she really reached out to the children and gave them foundational value, things that they can use going forward in their life, not just here's 2 meals and a cot. You don't just take a nap and you just play around in the backyard. And I really, really say God bless Coach John and his wife, Michelle, and the RATS program.
You know, since we're just reaching Teachers Day, I want to take a moment to give a big shout out to all the teachers out there who chose kindness first. And honestly, that makes such a difference, you know, because a lot of teachers, they're underpaid and they're overworked with hundreds of students. It's a big classroom full of children. You know, I remember back when I was in college, I started noticing just how much impact kind professors had on their students. These were the ones who really understood that life didn't stop at the classroom door. They recognized things like mental health struggles, personal commitment, jobs outside of school, and instead of just brushing that off, they worked with their students through it. And that type of understanding builds respect, trust, and honesty. It really keeps a lot of students motivated to keep pushing forward. Because on the flip side, we've all had some strict teachers too. You know, the ones with the mindset of you're here to learn, leave your problems at the door. And while that discipline and structure are important, that kind of rigidity, it doesn't always connect with the reality students face. Sometimes compassion can go further than a lecture or a deadline ever could. That's why seeing someone like Coach Don being celebrated for his kindness is such a huge accomplishment. He's a teacher who dedicated decades to his students, not just teaching them, but supporting them and showing them what it means to lead with empathy in today's world, especially that deserves recognition.
Come on now. Now, I want to make sure that you had said kind teachers, KIND.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, to piggyback when you were talking about like a more stricter, no nonsense teacher, those are the teachers.
With the rules.
Those are the lessons that you learn the thereafter. Like you don't get it, you don't like them, and then one day it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's and that's it. We need that balance. You know, we wouldn't know happiness if we didn't know what sadness was. We wouldn't know excitement from depression if they were not different, which comes into the differences in teaching styles. That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. That's beautiful.
Good balance for emotional intelligence.
Yeah. What's next on the docket, nephew?
All right, team. Here's one that got people talking and for all the wrong reasons. Over the past few days, a TikTok post surfaced showing clinic staff posing with what appears to be patients' bodily fluids, specifically pap smear discharge, mocking the stains left behind in exam rooms. The post captioned, "Guess the substance," included multiple images. In one, a person in pink scrubs gives a thumbs up near a stained exam chair. In another, someone bent over the stains while sticking out with their tongue, all while smiling for the camera. The clinic in question in I hope I said it right, urgent care, part of the Sanson Clinic network in Santa Barbara, California. Once the images began spreading, shock and outrage followed quickly. The clinic's parents' health system, Sutter Health, responded by placing those shown in the post on administrative leave while an internal investigation was open. Within 24 hours of becoming aware of the post, they took action and soon after confirmed that those employees involved have been terminated. So yes, Tracy, they have been fired. So I want to flip this to you guys. This isn't just about one bad video. What does it say about accountability, workplace culture in healthcare, and the relationship between providers and patients. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
You said it. I just was hoping that they were terminated for that type of behavior. Because when you work in healthcare industry, morals, compassion,
yes, HEPA,
ethnic, not ethnic, HIPAA.
HEPA, yeah. Don't.
And just the
Ooh,
no,
don't say
no, it's HIPAA.
HEPA.
It's
Oh,
no
okay.
R in it. It's
All right.
I.
Still learning,
It's
y'all.
I.
HEPA as a HEPA, because that's some HEPA.
That's what you said.
Okay,
But it's
the
okay. Look, I'm drinking cut water. You're gonna have me giggling.
Yeah, slice.
Like so, but the bottom line is you have to have a moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
And who goes and plays with people's bodily fluids
Now,
and in your work environment? What you do at home, that's your business. But when you're at work, and I need to trust you to be taking care of people and their health issues, baby, there's a thin line between employment and unemployment line, and I'm glad they're in the unemployment line now.
Let me tell you about Sue, Becky, Karen, Ann. Let me tell you about it. See, I'm just trying to see, was they doing a bust down with a bag of blood? I mean, was you pop locking with some plasma, sis? Please don't tell me.
It sounds like it may have been.
Don't tell me you was body rolling with no urine.
No, worse. They were set over a chair like they had defecated, so there was fecal matter. And somebody had their mouth open over something that may have been either, I don't know what the bag had in it, but it could have been urine, it could have been anything. But they were just portraying themselves to be grotesque and enjoying themselves doing that while they're on the clock.
No.
So you're not going to get my dime and my money, honey, and you're playing with bodily fluids.
No. This is where I know they was white.
That's why they got administrative suspension first before they got terminated.
I'm gonna tell you why.
If their ass was black, they would have been terminated day of.
Yeah. So this is what I'm thinking about. I wouldn't. If it's my job,
don't play with it. Don't
to work
play with
with
it. Don't play with
urine
it.
and fecal matter. It's like think about being a trash man. You got some unwarranted smells you got to deal with on your job, right?
Why are you playing with that?
And that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I was trying to get to. Now, why the hell did you out here playing with Uncle Ernest, urine, and Auntie Fifi's feces?
That's just nasty.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? And then that kind of when you said compassion and morals, right? It just goes to prove that there's a piss poor medical attention out here.
Yeah.
Y'all are here playing games, and I don't want to blame social media.
I do.
But if
video games,
people were
social
going
media,
so viral and because I think they thought that it was going to hit.
It did.
It hit right at the home. They got your ass
that.
flower, right?
It hit them. Yeah, that part. It did.
That is really, really embarrassing, and it is a fool on them. Right. But because they was playing with the urine and the feces. That's what's wrong with it.
I've got to be honest. When I first saw that story about the Samson Clinic staff mocking patients in that TikTok video, I was completely disgusted. Not only that, but honestly outraged. Because here's the thing. I'm no medical expert, but if I were sitting on that clinic's board, I'm letting you know right now, that would be the kind of action where their licenses should be revoked immediately. No fucking hesitation, period. Because here's the thing. When you work in a medical field, and I'm just picking back off of what Tracy was saying. When you work in a medical field, whether you're a doctor, a nurse, whether registered or pediatric ICU, a veteran, a surgeon, you're not just clocking in for a paycheck. You're dealing with people's lives, their health, and in some cases, their most vulnerable moments. Patients trust you with their bodies, information, and dignity. To see stuff turned into a joke on social media, that's beyond professional. It's inexcusable. That's a betrayal. And this is exactly why we have laws like HIPAA in the medical field exist. They're there to protect patients' rights and privacy and to set clear boundaries on what should and should not be shared. When you cross that line, you're not just breaking one rule, you're breaking trust. And once that's gone, it's impossible to get it back. And what makes it worse is that these aren't just random people posting online. These are trained medical professionals, people who should know better. They're supposed to be to set the example, not become the headline. And when behavior like this comes to light, it doesn't just damage the reputation of one clinic. It shakes people's faith in the medical system as a whole. So,
Exactly.
and people been paying a lot of money in medical bills, doctor visits, and some, mostly out of pocket because I will say they're not cheap. Period.
Well, just one more thing before you conclude this segment. I, for one, am scared to go into hospitals because of this type of silly behavior that is unacceptable. And if you do it one more time, I'll pinch you.
It doesn't matter. Because y'all is on your soapbox. It's getting bubbly in this thing. You hear him popping?
Okay, here. You're next. Here, boo.
Well, hell, what do I get to say about it? Yeah, we said, well, I ain't got nothing. I don't want to talk about it no more. Oh, because what got me. All right, so next, in her new memoir, Softly, As I Leave You, Life After Elvis. Elvis Presley's widow, Priscilla F. Presley, reveals just how overwhelming Elvis Presley's funeral was for his family, especially because it almost had zero, nada, zilch of privacy. She describes how Graceland was swarmed, cameras, fans, media, with people wanting to file past Elvis' open cast. Priscilla recalls that the crowds grew so intense by one on the second day that President Jimmy Carter called in the Air National Guard to help with crowd control. Sounds like Trump.
What they needed to do.
She says that amid all of that spectacle, there wasn't room yet for our own grief because behind the public funeral, there were more private farewells inside of Graceland's living room and music rooms. There, Priscilla, their daughter, Lisa Presley, also Mrs. Jackson, if you're nasty, and Elvis's father, Vernon. Ain't that the man from Beverly Hillbillies?
My daddy name
his name was Uncle Vernon.
My daddy named Vernon.
Was that the Hillbilly?
I don't know. I didn't watch that.
Well, Elvis's father, Vernon, were able to be alone, to say what needed to be said, to kiss him goodbye.
Oh, God.
Yes. Too earlier, Elvis' death felt like a piece of her died too. She said, I kind of messed up. I skipped the line. I'm sorry, I skipped the line. We're going to go back.
No.
So Elvis's father, Vernon, were able to be alone, to say what needed to be said, to kiss him goodbye, to try and let it sink in that he was really gone. She shares how, despite their divorce years earlier, Elvis's death felt like a piece of her had died too. She says she struggled to accept his death because in many ways she believed he would always be there.
The Prince of stealing rock and roll.
Wait, so here's
30 years ago.
Here's the question I want to pose. When someone is such a public figure, how do you reconcile the need for public remembrance with the human for the needs of private mourning?
You do your...
How do families protect their grief when the world is watching? When I read this story earlier, nephew, I thought about the many faceted mirrors or reflections of this marriage. They said she was a child bride. They say he didn't molest this little girl. They say he wasn't right. He got away with it. All these different things that went along with it, which was just to say, no one's perfect. Men make mistakes, and and then they die.
Allegedly.
And they died, but that ain't alleged because he did. And and with that, I would like to bring up some other folks that wasn't right, that was married, that are dead, that died before their wives. Like Ike died before Tina. Ike was not the best husband. Put his hands on her.
He was a monster.
Yes, he was, and I would assume Elvis was some sort of a monster.
He was a rock and roll thief.
And then I think about now these weren't bad men, but these were like superstars or celebrities that passed away with a mourning wife. So we have Miles Davis, the musician. He was married to Cicely Tyson. Now, he wasn't a good man, allegedly. You had spoken on some facts with him and her. But you said that he was not a nice guy.
I didn't say that. That was not my word. I said he was a woman beater.
All right, see?
That's what I said. It ain't no allegedly, because she says in her memoirs.
See?
And they were divorced when he died, so she didn't give no rat's ass about none of that.
But I say this to say that there's another celebrity man that passed away before his wife, and there was I had them all down the road earlier. I mean, Faith Evans is still alive, but B.I.G. passed away. He wasn't a nice guy.
Charlie Baltimore and Lil' Kim at the same time.
And whoever else.
Who cares?
Right? You see what I'm saying? And, so there are mourning women of celebrity men who are not maybe the nicest and great at the same time.
Okay. I'm going to... Yeah, you know.
Can I just say...
Yes.
Go ahead, nephew. Save the day.
All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Tracy, but
it's okay. But I'm just annoyed with the fact that we have to celebrate misogyny. We have to celebrate men who are chauvinists. We have to. Who give a fuck? These people paid the price of fame, and you don't get to grieve in peace and quiet when you get all this money off the backs of all these fans. So. To answer the question, who that for? You made all this money, you go have a private thing for you and your family, and then the rest of the world gonna grieve and celebrate your dead loved one.
But what about when we love them like Whitney and Michael?
What about Michael? Michael didn't do nothing. They set Michael up.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I said when they didn't do anything, we love them. And, they go like... They
had a celebration for them. Whitney had a beautiful funeral in Jersey.
Right, but it was public.
Yeah, but nobody complained.
But the times are different now. Times are like, I remember, who died first?
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead,
yes,
nephew.
Please.
All right, so when I read Priscilla's recent comments about Elvis's funeral, I've got to say, I was honestly shocked. I mean, the fact that the family was given no real privacy during such a personal, painful moment is just heartbreaking. But at the same time, when you think about that level of fame Elvis had, maybe it's not all that surprising. Back then, Elvis wasn't just a superstar. He was the superstar. Like, the fan base
thief of rock and roll. Thief. Shame.
He robbed Little Richard.
The thief. A whole thief.
Well,
thief.
The fan base was like... very massive, and a lot of those Elvis girls, as they were called, would go to extreme lengths just to get them close to him. So it makes you wonder, how did they even get the address of the funeral in the first place?
Google was around then. Easy.
It was not.
It was. The internet was around. Google was around. All of that was around. Elvis didn't die in the 70s. He died in the 80s. Continue.
He had to leave in Las Vegas.
That's all I had to say, honestly.
You're next.
Well, are we done with the king?
Yes.
Because now we can talk about the queen.
He's not the king. He's a pauper.
Now we can talk about the queen. Let's talk about it. All right, so listen. Well, there's a rap beat that's heating up. It is on the Hibachi stove right now. Cardi B finally dropped her new album, Am I the Drama?
It's my shit. Hello is my shit. Yes, honey.
Okay, and I like every day.
And I bought the whole CD, not just one piece of this and one song of that.
Did you have it over each drop, or did they drop it in from the air on the drone? Okay. Well, She dropped Am I the Drama on September 19th, and one track in particular has people talking. Cardi used the song to take shots at JT, formerly half of group City Girls, calling her a fake friend and even poking fun at her image. Now, the history between these two is not brand new. It's a little dated. They've traded words online before. But JT wasted no time clapping back on this one. Okay, so on social media, she told the fans to buckle up and started firing off her own bars, saying that Cardi's diss was weak and she needed Jesus to help her write. Oh my God. Once JT really comes for her. Well, she didn't really stop there either, J2. JT threw a little bit more shade, calling Cardi dirty and non-talented, making it clear that she wasn't going to take this feud further. Meanwhile, fans were already debating whose side to take, with some hyping up Cardi's track or others saying JT come back or setting up for a bigger shutdown. So here's my question for you guys. Does this count of back and forth actually raise the stakes in hip hop? Like keeping that competitive spirit alive? Or does it just spiral into messy drama that distraction from the music itself? Well, currently up to date, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj have been going at it for about 18 hours straight, and I believe today is September the 30th.
The 30th of September,
It's
2025.
September the 30th. Yeah. So Cardi's getting it in with all these bitches. Her tea bag and her kettle is hot. She's serving girls. How do you feel about it? You said safe?
Safe.
And it's not safe. It ain't safe.
It is safe. It's very safe.
It ain't safe for these other rapping black bitches.
Okay, it's not your turn no more. It's my turn.
You know, I've been noticing this trend in the music industry, and I think I've got the formula figured out. Celebrity plus collaboration plus beat equals a diss track. That's literally exactly what we've seen play out over and over again. I mean, take Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, for example. They collaborated early on, but then came the feud, and the next thing you know, it turned into a diss track and public shots being fired. And there's a little bit of addition to the formula. They started going on a Twitter rant together after 7 years, which we will get more into detail probably next week or so. And it's the same thing with Nicki and Megan Thee Stallion. They linked up, did music together, but once that relationship soured, Nicki dropped Bigfoot, which of course was a jab at Megan, and that 2020 incident where she was allegedly shot in the foot by Tory Lanez.
Paul's nephew, everything Nicki had done with other rap girls, which was Bia, Megan, and even though she did that song with Nicki, that shit was all promotional. It was not genuine. I believe Megan is a girl's girl. Cardi is a girl's girl.
She sure is.
You see what I'm saying?
Nicki is not.
Now this is the thing. See, we love Nicki for her lyricism. And we love Cardi and Megan. Well, Megan is a dual sword, but we love Cardi for Cardi. Like if she never made another album again, we were gonna love her continuously.
She is my sister in my head.
And so with her dropping this album and it being a good body of work, it only promotes our love for her. Like, oh yeah, she's super, super well-rounded. Nicki, we cannot say the same. She's a rude cunt bitch. And that's perfectly fine.
Anytime you tell somebody to go dig up your mother out of grave, you lose it with me.
Aside from that,
anytime you're talking about children,
she's a great lyricist. And we love, and like I said, Megan is
letting her creativity flood her brain with negativity instead of being a decent person. You don't go about, I don't care who you are, you don't talk about the deceased in a negative way unless it's actual factual, you mention something. And you don't talk about people's children. Have you ever seen a mother bear get the hairs on the back of her neck when you bothering with her children? That's not something you want to see. I don't want to see it. But as far as the album goes, Cardi, kudos to you, girl, because you got me in here dancing. I think I lost 5 pounds since the album done dropped because I'm enjoying Safety on repeat. And hello, be on repeat. But I do want to make a comment about ladies beefing with each other. I think Nicki is a prime example of let me ride this way because Cardi is on her. I'm asking you. I want to finish my thought. Cardi is riding her wave. Nikki is like, you know what? Now is the time for me to get in here and stir up some confusion, because it is great for promotion. The attention is great for promotion. It's great to get heard when somebody else is out here doing fabulous, because in the industry, good or bad or indifferent, attention is attention. It's going to garnish people to talk about it. So she's just doing what Nikki does. Nikki's just getting people talking. That's fine. But the body of work, superb. She's been angry. She's pregnant. She's still taking care of her business. She's going through divorce. And God bless Cardi B for still holding her head up high. And like she said, I didn't say nothing when y'all was messing with mine. So don't come for her. Let her go and enjoy her life. Please. I am so over it. That's all
I just want to say something before we move on.
Go ahead. Your turn.
Okay. I just want to say something real quick before we move on. The beef with Cardi and JT really shocked me, because JT and Young Miami had worked with Cardi before City Girls split up. It was so wild to see how often these collaborations eventually turn into bad blood. It's like the closer artist gets, the more personal that fallout becomes with things go left. What's interesting is that the diss tracks have almost become the default way to handle it, instead of just moving on or keeping it behind the scenes. It plays out in the music, which, let's be real, adds fuel to the fire and makes the drama even bigger.
It's got started. It's going to take more than just a week for it to die down and go away. These girls are ready. They have their fangs out. It's got people talking about them. We're talking about them. And Cardi was very generous to take JT and what's the other one, Young Miami, under her wing and give them a shot. So something must have happened, because Cardi doesn't seem to me the kind of girl that just goes after people. She just, if you come for her, she's coming back for you. And she's not going to leave any ambers unburnt. She's going to burn you down like a damn forest fire if she in her crosshairs. So kudos to Cardi B. Kudos to Meg Thee Stallion. Kudos to City Girls. Kudos to even Nicki Minaj, because you guys got your names out there. But bad behavior is not the way to go. Stop with the bashing of people who are deceased and leave children out of it. Right. I can't stand that. It's so disgusting to me. Leave children and deceased people out of it.
Well, they're both going under hell with each other with them chariots.
That's awful.
Nikki and Cardi. But, we're going to hope that, it can calm down, let the beef turn into chicken and getting shrimp. Let's digest
beef, chicken, and shrimp. That's what you want.
Let it go.
Okay. It's on you.
As we continue honoring Latin Heritage Month, today we want to shine a spotlight on one of the biggest voices in music right now. And now he's stepping into one of the most visible moments in pop culture. He's been officially announced as the headliner for next year's Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show. I'm talking about Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican superstar whose music spans every song, Latin trap, and beyond. He started putting up his music on SoundCloud while holding down day jobs, even working in a Super Bowl, and gradually attracted attention from producers and labels who saw the energy, the risk-taking, and the rawness in all of what he was making. What's striking about Bad Bunny is how he's continually broken barriers. His 2020 album, The Last World Tour, made history as the first all-Spanish language album to duet at #1 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart.
Yay!
He's won multiple Grammys, Latin Grammys, been one of the most seen artists globally, and lately he's been making moves beyond music into acting, fashion, and cultural influence. He's won multiple Grammy Awards and Latin Awards. He has won multiple Grammy Awards and Latin Awards, broken streaming records, and built a reputation for authenticity, risk-taking, and representing his group in everything that he does.
And we're back. Hope you had grabbed a snack, stretched your legs, maybe even checked your phone real quick, because now it's time to dive into this favorite segment here on the Bubble Chat called Social Issues in Media. This part of the show is where we take a closer look at how the headlines, entertainment, and even social platforms aren't just about the latest gossip or trends. They actually reflect deeper conversations happening in the society. Whether it's about representation, accountability, or the way certain narratives are shaped, this is where we unpack what's really going on beneath the surface. So instead of just focusing on what happened, we're asking why it happened. And does it mean because the media doesn't exist in a vacuum, it influences how people see the world,
There's
and sometimes, and you too, and sometimes how the world sees us. With that said, are you okay?
No, I was going to.
Okay. Let's just jump right into today's story under social media issues. And trust me, this one's going to spark some good conversations. What's got you going, nephew? And what's going on with you?
All right, so I'm going to talk about a movie that had me hyped from the very first trailer, and that movie is called In the Heights. From the moment I saw that sneak peek, I knew this was going to be something special. The energy, the music, the colors, it just grabbed me. I was ready for it, but then, of course, the pandemic hit. Movie theaters all around the world were shut down, and like so many other films, In the Heights had to wait its turn. Some projects were going straight to streaming, but this one held out, and I gotta say, that extra year of waiting, it was worth it. When it finally dropped, I was blown away by the vision that the director, John M. Chu, brought to the screen. You might have known him from Crazy Rich Asians and also the director of Wicked Part 1, and I think Wicked for Good. And here he really captured the heart of this story. The movie takes us right into Washington Heights, which is a corner of Upper Manhattan with a vibrant, predominantly Dominican community. What I love most is how each character has their own dream, big or small, but all of them are chasing something bigger and something brighter. And if if the story felt theatrical, that's because it is. The film is based on Lin-Manuel Miranda's Broadway musical of the same name, which, fun fact, just hit its 20th anniversary since premiering at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center. Lin actually started writing the earliest draft back in college, and it was even picked up by Wesleyan, I hope I said that right, University Student Theater Company before it ever made it to Broadway. Talk about a full circle moment. Now, for me, what makes It a High stand out isn't just the music or performances. Do Anthony Ramos, Melissa Barrera, Corey Hawkins, and Leslie Grace absolutely shine. It's the way that movie reflects real social issues, diving into the struggles of immigration, debt, racial profiling, and what it means to belong in a community that's often overlooked. Even when money is tight, there's this sense of unity of family that carries everyone through. That's that's fucking powerful. And the movie is a celebration of culture, community, and resilience. And I think that's why it resonates so deeply, especially with Latinx audiences who see their stories being told authentically on the big screen.
I think I remember seeing that a couple of years ago. I can't tell you any bullet points about it, but I do remember the title. I'm a huge movie buff. I like movies. I'd like to take myself on solo dates to movies. So when the pandemic hit, I almost lost myself because I couldn't go to the theaters. And you know who saved me?
Hmm.
Tubi and all their terrible movies. I love Tubi. Tubi gets a Black Power for the people shout out because Tubi, baby, whew, it was rough sitting still for 3.5 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, it happened. What I'm seeing is other bodies of work, but I was unfortunately not able to see the
Washington Heights.
Washington. Yes. You had a big spoon of peanut butter to serve us on the movie Nephew. So I'm happy that you enjoyed it, and I look forward to enjoying it because you got my interest peaked. Well, in about 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. And that's it. It's a wrap for today's episode of the Bubble Chat. We've covered a lot of ground, shared some laughs, and hopefully gave you something to think about on the way. Now, as always, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate every single last one of you who tuned in, whether you're listening on your morning commute, doing your workout, or kicking back at the house. Don't forget to follow us on all social platforms. Hit that subscribe button, share, show us off with your friends, and it really helps us keep the conversation going because we be popping. Now, we'll be back with more stories, more hot takes, and of course, more bubbles to chat about. Now, until then, please take care of yourselves, each other, and we'll see you next time. This is the Bubble Chat signing off. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, y'all.